From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
So I recently purchased the Earthworks Ethos, and I still can't believe this microphone is $399. And I was able to get a sound out of it that I really liked very quickly. And so much so that I used it on voiceover work for big clients pretty quickly. And I used it on work for Allstate, for Crayola, and it came out great. As a matter of fact, the note from Crayola came back and said impeccable quality. So I was like, wow, this really confirms my belief that Earthworks Audio makes professional-level voice-over microphones. And Earthworks was like, hey, you like the Ethos. You need to check out the Icon Pro. So thank you to Earthworks Audio for sending this over. I have to tell you, I was expecting these microphones to sound a lot more similar than they do, but they're really very different. Now, the Icon Pro, one of the first things you'll hear in comparison with the Ethos is that with the Ethos, you really get more of a low-end presence. You get something that really kind of, I think, to my ear, feels more like that FM radio, a big broadcast dynamic microphone sound. But with a lot more clarity, than you'll ever get, more detail than you'll ever get with an SM7B or an RE20. But I feel like you get really a vibe out of it, like really a broadcast radio commercial vibe out of it. With the Icon Pro, it's a little bit more natural. You don't have that low end. I don't even want to call it a bump. What you have is the low end really kind of tapers off on the Icon Pro. So without that push in there, you really feel more of a natural mid-range and really the high end. The high end on both these microphones is incredible. I wouldn't, like a lot of people talk about a smooth high end, and a smooth high end is great. But what you have here is a very natural high end. So even though I can be sibilant on some syllables, what you get is something with the S's that really just feels natural. It doesn't have that weird pinched sibilant sound to it, except when I whistle through my teeth. So what I like about both of these microphones is that they exhibit a very, very similar natural top end. And yet what you get out of these microphones, again, is still very different. So here with the Ethos, right? The Ethos has a supercardioid pickup pattern, which means it feels a little bit more focused. The beam feels a little bit more focused. You get a tighter sweet spot, but it feels a little bit more forward and focused. And so I like the sound of this microphone a lot, and I like the fact that you can really work it back here the same way that you would with a shotgun, which is why I call this a shotgun. So you can really kind of work it, and the sweet spot is nice. So if you range around a little bit, that's not a problem. And then here, right, you get a little bit more like this range where I think that once you kind of get a little bit further away, right, you're feeling a little bit more distance. But right in here in this area, you have a sweet spot that feels wide because this is a full cardioid pickup pattern. So it's a big, wider kind of area, and it doesn't feel as focused and as direct, but it feels very natural. And I think for me, the sweet spot on this microphone is right here with about a couple inches off, talking across the beam right here. I'm using a little bit of that proximity effect to kind of make up for the tapered off low end, which I think works on my voice. But something like this with the low end, not as present as the Ethos. Like, I think that this will be a great microphone if you have a deep voice with a lot of resonance in it, if you have a lot of, harmonic content in the low end of your voice. If you have the kind of voice where when you speak, my diaphragm vibrates, this might be a better choice for you. But what I really appreciate about this microphone is just really how natural it sounds. I mean, how immediate it sounds. You have an extremely fast capture on both of these. Transient response is insane. And here you may not sense that the detail is as much here because of this low end presence. But there's so much detail in this capture that I have never gotten in any other microphone. Which is why I'm just enamored by these two microphones, the Icon Pro and the Ethos. Now, this is the Icon Pro with a little bit of EQ on it. So I'm going to shut off. This is the EQ I have on the Icon Pro. Now, let me shut it off. Now, what you're hearing is just really, lacks a little bit of that high end, a little bit of that detail in there. I feel you get a little bit, it takes a 2 dB, what is that, a 9, and maybe like another 2.5 dB at like 4.5. So I think just a little touch here and there, and it brings out just a little bit more natural detail quality up here that I like. I really like this sound on the Icon Pro a lot. So let me just read something real quick. Okay, so this is from the Earthworks FAQ. Who is the Icon Pro for? Icon Pro is positioned for professional live streamers and podcasters who have already invested in the audio interface or other pro gear and are looking to upgrade their sound. Who is the Ethos for? Ethos is our new broadcasting mic that is as comfortable in traditional broadcast studio as it is on the desk of a top streamer. I left on A. And comfortable in a traditional broadcast studio as it is on the desk of a top streamer. Well, again, I think that you can totally gig with either of these microphones. And again, what is astounding is that this is $500. And this is $400. So between these two microphones, you cover a lot of ground for $900. That's insane. I mean, there are a lot of microphones there aren't a lot of great microphones in the sub $1,000 price range for VO. So to have both these, really in that range where you could pick up both of them for less than $1,000 and still have enough money to buy the boom arm, that's pretty remarkable, I think. And, the style on these microphones is pretty cool, So again, with the Ethos, you're getting something that, I can't peg the design style on this because it's a little bit of a bunch of different things. You got this Byzantine window thing here on the side, right? But it also kind of evokes like a 20s Bauhaus movement kind of thing. And then you get the whole retro modern look here. So it's not so much Art Deco. Here, the Ethos really has a little bit more of an Art Deco styling to it overall. But here on the Icon Pro, you get like Art Deco, mid-century modern, right? And then that Bauhaus thing, a little bit Byzantine thing. But what I love is what that stands for, right? Because you have all of these incredible, like modern, what were thought of as very modern design movements at the time. Right? So really revolutionary, groundbreaking design movements. But it is an homage to these revolutionary design movements of days gone by. So you're paying homage to the past, but like the cutting edge past. So remember, like if you look at old microphones, especially like some of those Shure microphones from like the 50s and 60s, and some of these designs were absolutely influenced by like the space race at the time, like how that kind of space culture really soaked up the mainstream and space mania. So you're getting that same kind of thing that Shure was doing at the time. They're revolutionary designs that really nobody had ever seen before. And so you're getting the same kind of thing here, but you're getting a modern sound. You're getting this, retro modern design and a completely modern sound. So I love the juxtaposition of that and the statement that it actually makes. When you look at these microphones, they're really aesthetically beautiful and they sound amazing. So what do you think? Earthworks Ethos? Earthworks Icon Pro? Which one do you like better? There is no wrong answer, but I want to know, all right? Leave a comment. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemcoff. Fading to black.